Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will walk through a simple yet functional student registration app built using Flutter. It demonstrates how to use various widgets like text field, drop downs, radio buttons, checkbox, and form validation. So let us start understanding these code. So on screen you can see my app is running in emulator. So in title we show student registration and there are fields like full name, email, password and course and gender, and last we have checkbox which says I agree to the terms and conditions. So here we must specify our name, then email, then password, and from this drop down list we must select any of the course, and then we have to select gender, and then we have to check this checkbox, and then we have to click register button. Now what will happen if this register button is clicked? So here you can see first it validates all the inputs, and if it is okay, then it will display all the selected values inside snack bar. Here I specify some input. Now next I press register, but since this checkbox is not checked, it again shows that please agree to the terms and conditions. Now all fields are entered: full name, email, password, course, gender, and these conditions. So now if I press register button, it will display all the details in a snack bar that registered successfully and displays name, email, course, and gender. So let us understand these code in our project structure. So this is my Dart file. First, we must import this package. We already know this, so that we can use different widgets inside our user interface. Next is a main method. So main method is the entry point of our Flutter app. Inside that, I specify run app SI. Now what is SI stands for? It is a student registration app. Now let us understand these SRA. Here we define one class called SRA which extends stateless widget. Why? Because there are no changes on user interface, so it is declared as a stateless widgets. This is my constructor for SRA class, and we must override build method. So here I write down build method. Inside that we have to return material app, and we have set title to student registration, and in home we specify SRP, which is stands for student registration page. SRP sets the home screen to student registration page, which is defined below SRA. So SRP is a stateful widget. Why? Because it changed the state of user interface. That is why we define it as a stateful widget. Now this is my constructor. Now whenever we define stateful widget, we must override create state method which returns state of type widget SRP. So here I define one class which represent state of SRP. So here I return underscore SRP state, and we know that underscore means this variable or object is local to this Dart file. First we define stateful widget, then we override create state method which returns state of type SRP, and inside state class for SRP we must extend state, and in greater than and less than sign we have to specify class for which we want to define state. So in this case it is SRP. Again, like previous example, we define form key variable, and it is initialized to global key of type form tag. Here I declare some variable to store entered data by user in these fields. So I write down name is equal to blank, email is equal to blank, password is equal to blank, and initially whatever course we want to display, we define it in a selected course. So this is a default selected course and default selected gender is male, and initially that checkbox is not checked. We define one boolean variable agree to terms to false. Why? Because initially it is not checked. It should be explicitly checked by user. So that's why it is set to false. So checkbox for terms and condition is set to false. Next, we want to create a list that we want to populate in this drop down list. So we must define all these courses as a list. So here I define list of type string and its name is courses, and in square bracket we have to specify each item in a single quotes. So first is a BCA, then BSCIT, then BSCCS, then MCA, then MSCCS, MSCIT and MSCDS. All these values represent list item of type string. So now my list of available courses is ready so that I can use that inside drop down list. Now we have initialized all the variables and we have also defined form key. Now we must override build method to actually update my user interface when state is changed. So inside build, we must return scaffold and we must define app bar with title and text set to student registration. So here you can see student registration. Next is a body. So this is a scrollable body. Remember, if it goes out of screen size, automatically scroll bar is displayed here to scroll in a case of small screen. So inside body, I define single child scroll view and I have given padding of size 16 logical pixels around the form, and inside child I define form widget that we have already used in a previous example. So what is use of form widget? Using form widget, we can validate control using this key which is assigned to form key, and inside child I specify column. So here I write down cross axis alignment set to cross alignment stacks. So instead of arranging all these in a center, it starts from the beginning immediately after app by. This is the purpose of our cross alignment dot start. Now inside column we have children. All these controls are children of column widget. First is a text form field. So here you can see text form field, and using decoration we must specify label text to full name. So here full name is displayed. Then inside on change, that means whenever value of these text field is changed, we want to set this value whatever type by user into name. So inside on change I write down name is equal to value. It means whatever user type inside text field will be stored inside variable name. And how to validate this, we have already learned that. So inside valid value we must write down that if condition, that if value double equals null or value is empty, then we must display enter your name, otherwise we must return null. This is how using ternary operator we have written that if condition in a single line. This is a equivalent to if value equals null or value is empty, then we must return message enter your name, otherwise we must return null. That's it. Then next text field is again email that we have already learned in a previous example. So here again we use decoration and inside decoration we must specify input decoration. Here we have just used label text set to email and on change. So whenever user types inside email, that value will be stored in a email variable. So here I specify keyboard type. So keyboard type specifies text input type dot email address. So it displays keyboard that supports entering email. So here I again use validator to set value. So inside validator I write if value not equal to nulls and value contains at the rate. It means it is a valid email, right? It is not empty as well as it contains at the rate. So we must return null. It means our value is okay. Otherwise, we must return enter valid email because you have entered value but it does not contain at the rate. So this is how we specify basic validation for at the rate symbol presence. So this is how our second text field validate value and assigns value to variable whenever it is changed. The next is a password that you can see on the screen. Here is a password. Password input field, we specify decoration, we specify label text to password, and we must set obscure text to true. Otherwise, whatever user type will be shown on screen. And inside on change, I assign its value to password variable. And if value not equals null and value length is greater than or equal to 6, then we must return. Now, what does these conditions specifies? Our password must be of at least 6 characters. Otherwise, it will not accept password. So, if value is not equal to null, that means user have typed something as well as value is greater than or equal to 6 character, then we must return null. It means value is okay. Otherwise, we must specify minimum 6 characters required. So this is how third text field or input field will work. Then there is a size box that you can see here. So after password, there is a space that is specified using this size box and its height is set to 16 pixel. After that, we display text select course that you can see here. Select course. After text, we display drop down list. So how to create a drop down list? So here I write down drop down button field of type string and its value is specified by select course. Now remember, this select course is a list. So its initial value is represented by selected course. So remember, this selected course is assigned to BCF. Here you can see select course is assigned to BCF. So in value we specify initial value that we want to display. And whenever it is changed, we must set state to new value. So here inside selected course, I assign value. So we must update selected course. So here we must write down value and exclamation sign. So value and exclamation sign will assign updated course to selected course. Now how to populate these drop down list with predefined values? Inside item I specify courses, which is a list of courses, and after that I write down dot map. In map method we must write down drop down menu items and value is course and child is also course. In drop down menu items we must specify two things, value and child. So inside value we have also specified course and inside child I have also specified course, but this is a text widget. My child is a text widget which represent this text value from course. So this is how our drop down list is populated, and then we must call toList method. So this is how drop down list will display list of courses from some predefined list. Then there is a space between course and gender. So again it is a specified using size box, and then we display text gender. So this is a gender. So here I define one text with value gender. Then there are two radio buttons, male and female. So here I define radio list type. The first title is text, which is male, and its value is again male. Now that initial value is male because initially male is selected, right? So value specifies male. Now group value. What is group value? Which is a male and female. So group value name is gender. And on change, we must specify value to gender variable, which is value dot to string. These radio list style has a name male. Its value is again male. My group name is gender. So male and female collectively called gender. So group value, we must specify some generic name for that group. And inside on change, we must assign updated value to gender. That is the text of radio button. Now how to specify these list male and female? Second radio button is again specified using radio list style. So title is text female that you can see on the screen. Its value is also set to female. Group value must be given same name for all the radio button that you want to combine mutually exclusive. So here, suppose there is a third value called transgender. So group value must be same for all the group. And inside on change, I assign value to gender variable. So these radio list style define two radio buttons. First define male and another define female. Suppose I want to display third, then again I must define third radio list. So I am copying this and then paste over here. Now I write down other, and value must be specified other, and group value must be gender. Why? Because now we want to display three radio button which are mutually exclusive. Other things remain same. Now save these and hot reload these. So now list is updated. Here you can see other, and you can select any of these using mutually exclusive. And here if this goes out of screen area, then scroll bar will be automatically displayed. So this is how we can define radio list style and make them mutually exclusive. Now next is a elevated button. So this is a elevated button. Before that we must define these checkbox. So let us see how to define checkbox. So for displaying checkbox, we must use checkbox list type. So its title is I agree to the terms and conditions. So this is my title, and value must be agree to terms, which is initially false. And after on change, we must assign updated value to agree to term. So whatever value true or false will be assigned to agree to terms. Next is the size box to provide space between this checkbox and elevated button. And after that, inside center, I write down these elevated button. So here you can see in center, I specify child elevated button with text register. And whenever this button is pressed, what we want to do is we want to validate all these form fields, and if they are okay, we must display them in a snack bar. Here I call form keys current state not dot validated method, which checks if the user has agreed to terms, then user has entered all the details and everything, and then it displays in a snack bar those values. So first we check whether this checkbox is checked or not. Here I write down if not agree to terms. What does it mean? We want to display please agree to terms and conditions in a snack bar. So if user is not agree to term, we display that message inside snack bar that you can see on the screen. And suppose user has checked to that checkbox, then we must validate all these fields. So what we want to do is I want to display in a snack bar text that in first line I display registered successfully. Now these slash n will display text which follows in the next line. So here I write down name and then $name. So what does $name represent? Value entered by user in this text field, and inside email in new line I display $email. So it displays email with email entered by user. In next line it displays course colon value selected by user in course field, and inside gender it returns the text of gender selected by user. So this is all about my code. That's it. You can see live app running in emulator. You can try all these codes yourself. So friends, these app demonstrates using text form field, drop down form field, radio list style, and checkbox list type. We also learn how to manage form state and validate inputs, how to show message with scaffold messenger. So these concludes our walkthrough of the student registration app in Flutter. In future lesson, we will expand these app by adding login functionality, storing data in database, or sending form data to a server. I hope you enjoy this demonstration. Thank you and happy learning.